Caucus through Ryan, our new regional director, will be very supportive in our communications folks. And we're also hoping that we can get this death penalty abolished here too, because we only got 9 more states until we can go to the Supreme Court and abolish it in the country, and we ain't ever going to get it done in Georgia or Alabama. So we need to do Maryland, Ohio, California, and so forth.
Quick question for you. This president, next 4 years, what are we pushing?
Jobs.
Particularly for the black community.
Jobs. Look, it was appropriate for the president to say 4 years ago, look, the black community's been in recession for 40 years. Some folks have been in recession for 4 months, but either way, we're all in recession now. Let's focus on strategies to lift all boats. But now that some boats are rising faster than some other boats, it's reasonable for this president, as the president of all the people in this country, to say to all the people in this country, we need to make sure that all the boats are rising at the same speed. We need to focus. Just out in Minnesota, the state unemployment average is 6%. The black unemployment average is 18%. It should be outrageous, not just to black people in Minnesota, but to everybody in Minnesota, and frankly, the country as a whole. So we will continue to do what we've done for 103 years. We will push this nation to be one nation. And in this case, we need to focus on the employment equation for people in this country, pushing us past employment discrimination. There's a bunch of barriers out there, like in, for instance, federal highway construction, where the affirmative action guidelines are still the ones that Ronald Reagan set, and they need to be updated. So there's a lot we can do without spending even $1 more, because for our community, fighting employment discrimination is as important as job creation, because if you create a job but you won't consider me or my cousin or anybody else for it, what does it really matter?
Where do ex-offenders fit in this population, considering black men are 39% of America's prison population?
We have taken the point really, of all national organizations to get big wins for the Ban the Box movement. Ban the Box movement is about taking the question, have you ever been convicted, off of the application and putting it in the interview. So people actually get to the interview, and if they need to explain something, they can explain it. We have gotten Walmart to change their hiring practices, ban the box. We got the city of Philadelphia to ban the box. We got the state of California to ban the box. And now we're focused on, with those big sort of urban city wins, big state win, big corporate win, going around to their peers and seeking to replicate that. We absolutely in this country, especially as people of color, have to be on the lookout, if you will, to be vigilant about ending second-generation employment discrimination. The first generation is about what people look like, who they love, what gender they are. Second generation is ostensibly about something else, but it has a way of preserving race and racial discrimination and its legacy. And so that's discrimination based on people, based on how long a person has been without a job. Literally discriminating against unemployed people when you're hiring. Well, how are they supposed to stop being unemployed? You don't give them a job. That's discriminating against people based on their credit score. Now, there's nothing that correlates more highly with your credit score than your wealth at birth. So if you're born poor, you're more likely to have a low credit score when you're an adult. If you're born rich, you're more likely to have a high credit score. Again, why are we using credit scores in employment, especially if it's not for like an accountant, or your CFO, but it's for the guy folding T-shirts? How can we justify that? How is he supposed to improve his credit score if he doesn't get a job? And then finally, in that same bailiwick is the discrimination against formerly incarcerated people.
Were you surprised at this post-election racial fallout?
Politics is like physics. There's a reason that they call it political science. Because for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And in 2008, we saw the color barrier broken at the White House the first time. And a black man, a black woman, 2 black girls, and a black dog moved into the White House. And some folks, that was more than they could handle. It was a big action, and they gave us a big reaction. And so we should have been surprised in 2012 when a variation of that happened again. They thought that they could prove it was a fluke. Our community, our country ultimately proved it was not a fluke. What happened last Tuesday was about values. And this nation ultimately is a nation in which inclusion tends to triumph over exclusion when people are organized and focused. And people were organized and focused last Tuesday. So I'm not too worried about people's reaction. Let's stay focused on the action. Let's stay focused on moving forward. Eventually, they will understand that is the new normal.
We appreciate you. The one and only president, Mr. Ben Jealous, NAACP. Keep watching Be More News.